In this FAA Part 107 exam study guide, I cover what you need to know to successfully pass your remote pilot license exam. The strategies I go over here should help you get a passing score on your first try. You need the Part 107 license if you are planning to use drone photos and footage to earn money. I passed the FAA Part 107 exam a few years back with a 90% score. When I was preparing for the exam, I had two goals in mind. First was to spend as little time as possible and still pass. The second goal was about finances. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. Now, with that, I had several choices. The first one was to study on my own using free resources from the internet. The FAA publishes guides and other resources that I could have used to pass the exam. There are also free online resources like YouTube videos and study guides. My main concern with free resources was their accuracy, but also I wanted to test my knowledge. It's one thing to actually learn and read for the material, but it's a different matter to actually answer questions and test your understanding. I also wanted to tell apart correct from incorrect answers. And that most often is more important than just answering the question right. I thought a lot about going with free resources. I'm pretty good at self-studying, but the lack of structure as well as practice tests were my main concerns. I looked online for study guides and came across one by Aviation Supplies Academics, or ASA. My main objective was the reliability of study materials. ASA has been in the business of helping aircraft pilots get their licenses since 1960. That's all they do. It's not some random guy from the internet posing as an authority. As I read more and more about the ASA, they gained my trust as a credible company that I can rely on to prepare for my Part 107 exam. So that's what I went with, the ASA Part 107 study guide. The guide is not expensive and costs under $30. The good thing about it is that ASA often updates it for any new rules or regulations. In fact, they publish a new study guide almost every year. The textbook has a solid material coverage. They also have many practice questions in the book with explanations. If a question uses a chart from an Airman Knowledge Testing Supplement, the guide has them too. The Airman Knowledge Testing Supplement has various illustrations and sectional charts. You will need to look it up to answer your Part 107 exam questions. In fact, with the ASA study guide, you may not even need the Airman Knowledge Testing Supplement. But if you do, you can either download the free PDF version from the FAA website or buy one online. I included links below. The best part about the ASA study guide is that it comes with an online access to free exams to test your knowledge for Part 107. And there you can actually even read explanations from the ASA about which answer was correct and why certain answers were not correct. And that was the best part about the ASA study guide that I really appreciated. I included a link to the most recent ASA Part 107 study guide in the description down below. This is what I used to study for my exam, and it worked for me and many other people. Now, as I mentioned, this guide cost under $30 and it's pretty good at preparing you for the exam. But as with any other textbook, it's not perfect. Sometimes I found the explanations too short for a good grasp of concepts. And so that was probably the most frustrating thing for me as I was studying for the Part 107 exam. I had to dig on internet as well as look up FAA guides and other free resources. That's why out of my sheer frustration came many YouTube Part 107 tutorials that I linked here. There I cover a lot of confusing or hard to understand material with practice questions. And all this leads me to the third best way to prepare for the Part 107 exam, and that is online courses. Now, online courses are not exactly cheap and they can cost as much as $300. Even though I didn't go with this option, I see a lot of value in it. The thing is that not everyone can sit tight and do self-study with a textbook. Sometimes online video delivery of lessons, materials, and concepts is more reinforcing and people learn better that way. On top of it, most Part 107 online courses are very well structured, and that way you won't have to waste your time on learning perhaps something you don't even need for the exam. If I had to recommend a Part 107 exam course, it would be from the Pilot Institute. They're the best hands down. 99.8% of their students pass the exam on the first try. If anyone fails for some reason, the Pilot Institute will give you a full refund and even that $175 extra to cover your test-taking experience. That's right, this is how they are so sure that you will pass the exam on your first try. The course also comes with quizzes and Part 107 practice exams. That's a very good value. If you decide to go with the Pilot Institute, use our link down below. Also, this Part 107 course is often on sale, but if it's not, you can use our coupon code BFilms for $100 off. When I was studying for my Part 107 exam with the FAA study guide, I spent probably around 30 hours all in all, but if I use the Pilot Institute course, it is possible that I spent probably much less. Here's a primer on the Part 107 exam. You must be 16 years or older. Registration for the exam is easy. You first get a special FAA tracking number or FTN. Then you can schedule your test via special testing centers. The test costs $175. All information is linked below in the description. The exam consists of 60 multiple-choice questions, and you'll have 2 hours to complete everything. It took me about 15 minutes for everything, including the rechecking my answers, and the passing score is 70% or 42 questions. You will know your results immediately after completing the test. The exam consists of 5 topics. They are regulations, airspace and requirements, weather, loading and performance and operations. I would say the most challenging topics for me were airspace and weather. I spent a lot of time sifting through sectional charts. There were many concepts that looked very similar to me, so I had to come up with my own ways to tell them apart. And my YouTube Part 107 tutorials cover some of that challenging material. And that's all I have for today. I wish you best of luck and pass your Part 107 exam on your first try, regardless of which method you choose to study. I may sound like a nerd, but I actually enjoyed studying and taking the Part 107 exam. There are reasons why FAA wants you to know this material and take a test on it. You'll be more confident and avoid accidents when operating your drone. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to our channel for more content. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.